Hello and welcome back to Radio Language. I'm Vlad, and the first book today from my bookcase is Teach Yourself Romanian, and this is a Romance language that is spoken in Romania. It's a really cool Romance language. I don't know how many people actually know it's a Romance language. Romanian has had quite a influence from Slavic languages, so there's lots of words in Romanian from Slavic origin. I'm probably going to do a video about Romanian and about the language and also compare it to other Slavic languages. But the cool thing about this book, because it's one of those teach yourself books, it has lots of different dialogues and exercises to do. So I'll do a video about this language and use a lot of information from here. Also, a good thing about this book, it has a dictionary in the back. So what I can do, for example, is take this column here. I could write down all the words in English and Romanian and then compare them with the other Romance languages. The next book is a book I got in a charity shop, and I believe it's a Roman Mass book, like an order of service book possibly, and it's all in Italian, which is another Romance language closely related to Romanian in some ways, but far more closer to Spanish, to French, and I'll do a video about Italian language and show its differences and similarities between the Romance languages. But it's a really cool book. I don't know enough Italian to really know what's being said, but I like the look of it. I like the layout. It's a nice book to have. The next book is a Russian and Polish phrase book, and I got this in Russia, and it's the really cool thing about this book. It shows sort of the words in Russian, then in Polish, and then the phonetic pronunciation of the Polish but written in Russian script. And this helps me quite a bit because I tried to learn Polish a little bit, and sometimes reading Polish for me is a bit difficult, so I look at the Russian sometimes. And Russian is a Eastern Slavic language, and Polish is a Western Slavic language. So Polish is very close to Sorbian, to Czech, and to Slovakian. It is close to Russian in a lot of ways. I mean, I'm an intermediate speaker of Russian. I can get by, I can have a general conversation, I can read Russian, I can write Russian. And when I hear spoken Polish, it's really strange because sometimes it sounds really familiar and I understand a lot. Then on the other hand, it sounds I don't understand anything. So it's one of those really strange languages, and strange in that sense. I mean, it's a really cool language too. It has, I think, 7 cases. It has nasal sounds. It's quite unique out of the Slavic languages as well. But the good thing about this, I can look at I can highlight the words which are similar, and then I can look at the sounds. So I'll do a video about the Polish language and probably do a comparison video of the other Slavic languages, and I'll probably use a lot of this book as reference for those videos. The next book is pretty cool. It's an order of service book, and this is in Old Church Slavonic, or possibly Church Slavonic, and that was a Slavic language. I don't quite know which family it fits into out of the Slavic languages, but the really cool thing about this book is a bilingual book. So this is all in Old Church Slavonic, and then this is all in Russian. So I can do a comparison video. So I can look at these texts side by side and compare the different words. Now, reading Old Church Slavonic is a little bit challenging because the alphabet, it's sometimes hard to decipher sometimes. And it's a cool book, and it's a cool language too. I'm going to do a video about Old Church Slavonic and do a comparison video, and probably use the majority of my video will be coming from this book, and I have a dictionary also in Old Church Slavonic. But it's really cool. I can just look at this and just compare the differences and similarities, and I sort of know how to read Old Church Slavonic. I've been teaching myself, and it's a really challenging language, but it sounds so cool. I've been to a few Russian Orthodox services, and they say everything in Old Church Slavonic, and when they sing, it's beautiful, and when they're reading, read in a very rhythmic way. I'll put a link below of an old Church Slavonic service just to give you an idea what it's like. But it's a really cool language, so I look forward to do a video about it. The next book is a First Russian Reader, and I got this when I was actually starting out learning Russian, and it's a good book. I mean, for any beginner, I mean, if you find this book in any other language, it's good to have these first reader books or beginners readers books, because I mean, still, I mean, this is, you know, I could probably read about 70% of this and understand it. You know, I can read every single word and pronounce it, but I would only understand 70% of it. So still, you know, my Russian is at intermediate level, but it doesn't mean I can just, you know, read this whole thing and understand every single thing. I mean, I still have to sometimes look up words, or if I read a text that I know, I still sometimes have to look up a word. So it's good to have these books to sort of keep going back to see if you understand it. So I mean, if I understood every single word in this book, then I'm ready to go to the next stage. But it's got a dictionary in the back, which is pretty good, so that's always good for reference. The next book is quite cool. It's on Wiltshire dialect, and it would probably be talking about the variant of English that is spoken in Wiltshire, and it's I don't know enough about it really to say much, but it seems to be quite different in some ways. So I mean, here, I don't know how well you can see this on the camera, so I'm just playing around with a zoom, but it seems to be quite different. I mean, it has the spelling is a little bit different, and some of the words are quite different. So I'm probably going to do a video about the dialects of the United Kingdom and go through them. And so the word for listening, like to listen, is arkin. So think of the word hark, to hear, to hark, like hark the herald angels sing. So listen to the herald angels sing, as from a song. And then you have it's just interesting. So they've got dictionaries of so the words in bold are Wiltshire dialect, and then this is all the translation of English or an explanation of what the words mean. But it's pretty cool. I'd like to know a bit more about the dialects of United Kingdom, because they are so diverse. It's not just, we don't all just speak standard English. Like every country has variations of the language. But it is a cool book. It just looks very different language in a lot of ways. So there's this book. The next book is I got this when I was in the Netherlands, and this is a book about the Leids, or like the Leids dialect, and this is spoken in Leiden, which is in I think southern Netherlands, and it's again it goes through the different like the Wiltshire book. It gives different examples in Leids dialect compared with standard Dutch. It gives a list of words here, and then explanations. This is all in Netherlands, and I can't really read this book because the level is too high for me. So I have been trying to learn Dutch here and there. I can read basic things, but this is a little bit too much. This is a bit too complicated for me. So this is all in Leids dialect. This here. So I'll probably do a video about the Dutch dialects spoken in the Netherlands, similar to the English dialect video. The next book is Die Heer die Ringe, and this is The Lord of the Rings, and this is Die Zwei Turme. Sorry, when I'm reading this is all in reverse on the screen, so sometimes when I see things I've just got to try and figure out what it says. But this is The Lord of the Rings and the Two Towers, and this is in German. And like Dutch, German is a Western Germanic language. It's close to Yiddish, English, Luxembourgish, and other Germanic languages. But it's cool. So it's got this is sort of this is the story of the ring. So 3 rings were given to the elven kings, and It's a cool book to have. I've tried to learn German here and there. I have this book in English. I've read this in English as well. So if I wanted to learn German, this would be probably way too high for my level. But when I get to a higher level, I could read this book and compare it with the English, and it's just cool to see. I mean, I can use also a lot of examples because I also have this book in Dutch, I have this in English, I have this book in many other languages. So I might do a comparison video just from one of these books, and maybe take chapter 1 from The Two Towers and the first, go first paragraph and compare it. So there's this book. The next book is a Yiddish and English dictionary, or phrase book. It's quite cool. Yiddish is a Germanic language close to German, Luxembourgish, and Netherlands, and Afrikaans and Frisian. It's also, Yiddish has a lot of words from Hebrew in it, which is a Semitic language close to Arabic, from that language family. But it's cool. So it gives you the Yiddish in bold and then sort of the English translation. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I like to learn Yiddish. I think it's a very beautiful language. In Yiddish, you can have one word that means multiple things. It's a cool language. I think it came from some dialects in Germany, maybe from the Rhine region. I could be wrong. So if you do know, please let me know in the comments. But it's a really cool. It's a cool language. I really like it. It's something about the Yiddish language that I really like. I can't explain it, but I'm sort of drawn to it in some way. But Yiddish is actually written in the Hebrew script, which makes it very hard to actually learn the language unless you have it written in Romanized or Latin script. It's a lot easier, but it has a lot of unique sounds to it as well. So I do a whole video about Yiddish and explain where it comes from and compare it with the other Germanic languages. So the next book is an introduction to Old Norse, and Old Norse is a Northern Germanic language, and it's the ancestor of the modern day Northern Germanic languages: Icelandic, Faroese, Norwegian, Swedish, and Danish, and Elfdalian. And it's a cool book. So this is basically, this is all in Old Norse. So I'm going to do a video about Old Norse and explain a lot more about it, and probably use a lot of examples from this book. And it's cool. So I think it's got a good thing. It's got a dictionary in the back. So again, I can look at all these words. I can write down these words in Old Norse and then English, and do a comparison between the Germanic languages. But yeah, I like Old Norse. It's cool. So you have the sagas which are written in Old Norse, these Icelandic sagas, which date back quite a long time, and there's sort of adventure stories. Some of them are mythology, some of them are history. They're a really cool collection of manuscripts and texts. So I'll probably do a video about those as well. But yeah, I like it. I think it's a really unique language. Icelandic is one of the closest living languages to Old Norse. It really hasn't changed that much. I think speakers of Icelandic, I reckon through my own studies of these languages, I reckon a speaker of Icelandic could probably understand 80% of all of this without actually having learnt Old Norse, because that's how little the languages have changed. Of course, they have changed quite a bit. Icelandic is quite different from Old Norse at the same time. This next book is a English and Farsi dictionary, and Farsi is a Indo-Iranian language or Indo-Aryan language. I'm not quite sure, but it is distantly related. It's related to Tajik and Kurdish, and also distantly related to Hindi, Punjabi, Urdu, Bengali, Sinhala, and things like that. But it's cool because again it has the dictionary, and it gives you this is written in an Arabic script, or an adaptation of an Arabic script, and then it gives you the phonetic pronunciation too, which is pretty good. So again, I can make my list of words, but I do a video about this language. The next 3 books are all in Tamil, or about Tamil. So this is English and a Tamil dictionary. And Tamil is a Dravidian language closely related to Malayalam, Telugu, and Kannada and Tulu, and a few other languages which I forgot the names of. But it's good because I was traveling around in southern India, and I went to Chennai or Tamil Nadu, which is a state in India, and they speak Tamil there. So I got this just to learn a few phrases so I can take this around with me and say some things. I mean, of course, my pronunciation of Tamil would be terrible, and it's all written. It doesn't give you a phonetic pronunciation of a Tamil, but I can, for example, I could find the English word here and share it to somebody if they don't understand me. But it's good to have, just good to write it down. So there's this one. The next one is all about different bird species, and I'm not going to learn Tamil, but I purely got this just out of interest. But it does give you a picture, and then the English name, which is quite nice, and then this is all in Tamil. So I can't read any of this. It's not like I understand Tamil. It's a very difficult language in its own right. The script is beautiful. I mean, it's one of my favorite Indian scripts, I think. But yeah, this is a really cool book. And the last one is quite good. This is Learn Tamil in 30 Days. I think this title is misleading. This book was probably designed for people who already speak a Dravidian language, or who already speak a language in India, who would have knowledge of the languages. I think someone like me, who's an English speaker, probably couldn't learn Tamil in 30 days. I think it would take more like 5 years or something, because it's so complicated, the words are so long, the pronunciation of things. But it's a cool book to have. I got it purely for reference, and it goes through it has the example here, so the Tamil, then the phonetic pronunciation of the Tamil, and then the English translation. So it's quite good. I could actually use this book and write it. When I was traveling in India, I actually wrote a phrase book based upon this book, and it has a lot of words in the back, which is quite good. So I could write down a list of words. It has a lot of basic phrases. So this is a good book to have, and also it shows you how the alphabet looks. So I don't know how that on the screen. But yeah, it's a pretty cool book. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry this video was a bit of a long one, but I wanted to show you quite a few books. I really hope you enjoyed the show, and if you do, please like, share and subscribe, all the good stuff. And until next time, peace out.